Yarr! Hello, everybody. How are you today? We're here looking for treasure. That's the best I can do for pirate. Uh, having a little fun today. A little bit of a pirate theme. This is the third in my series, where sort of an irregular series where I'm doing armchair treasure hunts of the past. These armchair treasures of the past, I like to go over them every once in a while because, in my opinion, that's one of the ways we can get better at armchair treasure hunts is to look at the ones in the past. Arg. And, hey, Hooli. Hey, treasure hunter, I'm glad you could make it. Hey, Born Talent, I'm glad you could be here too. So one of the ways we get better is to look at armchair treasure hunts of the past. And one of the ones I started working on recently is called Trove. Let me make sure I can see what I'm doing over here. There we go. This is Trove. This is by Sandra A. Miller. And one of the treasure hunts that she mentions in this book was one that she worked on with her friend David. And it was called We Lost Our Gold, and that's what I'd like to go over today. And so if looking at the treasure on this book, I said, well, let me look at it, and I couldn't find much online. So I thought, well, let me see if I can work on it, and maybe I can get better at it. Maybe I can, working on We Lost Our Gold can potentially help me, and maybe it'll help you too if you're also working on Trove to figure out that treasure hunt. All right, I'm going to have to take this eye patch off because I can't really see very well. All right. Oh, and I need some water too. Sweetie, you have some water for me? What does my shirt say? Hang on, let me overthink it. This is my armchair treasure hunt shirt, I like to call it. That's what it is, treasure hunter. We're all looking at rabbit holes. Oh, thank you, honey. How are you today?
I'm good.
You look lovely. You look lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sweetie. So that's my shirt. Hang on, let me overthink this. That's what it says. Hang on, let me overthink this. We're all looking for rabbit holes. Or we put ourselves in rabbit holes trying to figure out where things are. Okay, let me move this over to there. Gotta do a little housekeeping here. You're a welcome, treasure hunter. Oh my, hard to see. All right, so let's get started on this. I'm going to... Arg, I'm glad you could be here, Jack Jack. I'm going to make that smaller. We're going to turn that on. We don't need to see that right now. So, let me look at my notes. Silver Fox, glad you could be here. Silver Fox says he needs it too. Hey, if anybody's working on Trove, let me know. I'm just starting at the very beginning of it, but I'm not here to talk about Trove. I'm here to talk about We Lost Our Gold. Wow. It's like all blurry. You accidentally came on? All right, hey, I'll take any accidents. Happy accidents. Isn't that the Bob Ross thing? Happy accidents. We're here to have some fun too, a little bit. So We Lost Our Gold, and Trove by Sandra Miller. She worked on it with her friend David, and not only is the treasure hunt mentioned in the book, but she released this book on Talk Like a Pirate Day. Now, I'm not saying that there's definitely a clue in there, but from my breakfast tea and bourbon, I remember that there was a clue in the release date. So, Talk Like a Pirate Day. This is we're doing a little fun today. Talk Like a Pirate Day, which was September 19th. That's when this book was released. So, in addition to the treasure hunt, We Lost Our Gold, which has kind of a puppet pirate theme. We also have her book released on Talk Like a Pirate Day. You're working on Trove. You spent a lot of time, and you spent a lot of time on Lost Our Gold. It looks like it was pretty difficult to figure out. All right, if there's any problems with the stream, somebody let me know. Bob Ross had awesome shirts too. All right. All right, but we're talking about We Lost Our Gold. We Lost Our Gold has a website in addition to the website that talks about, has frequently asked questions and sort of general information about the treasure hunt. They released a series of 8 YouTube videos. And the videos have a length of between 1 to 12 minutes. And like I said before, they're puppet pirates. Your birthday is 9/19? Hey, if your screen name is Treasure Hunter and your birthday is on 9/19, this is a pretty good chance. Hey, talk like a pirate day. Must get these books now. All right. So yes, the video's there. And every video has a clue. This has been confirmed. I've been looking at different places where the creators of the treasure hunt talked about it, and they said every video has a clue, and the clues in the videos are all you need to solve the treasure hunt. The treasure hunt is also free to play. There was no need to even register or anything. All you needed to do was to watch the videos and figure out the clues and go dig up the treasure. And that is something else. The treasure was $10,000 in $1 U.S. coins. Think of like Sacagawea and what were some, I forget who else was on the dollar coin. But they actually took a chest, a treasure chest, filled it with $10,000 in $1 coins and buried it. And not only did they bury it, they buried it in one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. And the boroughs are the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, or Staten Island. And this is kind of the thing that kind of blows my mind, is that the 5 boroughs of New York City are one of the most urban areas in the United States. And for them to bury a treasure chest full of coins and to do it without, anybody noticing either before or after, it's kind of those weird things. It's like, man, so where do they hide it? And David mentioned this when Sandra and David were working on the treasure hunt in Trove. He says there's got to be someplace hidden where people can't see you dig up the ground, and it ended up that was the case. It had to be heavy. You are correct. And even when the creators talked about when they dug up the treasure, and there's a picture of the creators digging it up, it was very heavy, and the coins all spilled out because, I'll get to it, but the treasure hunt had to be canceled early because Hurricane Sandy wiped out a lot of the clue locations, and even the treasure chest itself was beginning to disintegrate because of the salt water from Hurricane Sandy. Various presidents on the dollar coins. Oh, you were one that bought one from Pete Bissonette from the Breakfast Tea and Bourbon? That's nice. Nice treasure hunter. So, all right, let me see if I can get back on track here. So the treasure hunt was free to participate. You didn't have to buy a book or anything. You didn't even have to sign up or register for anything. Okay. So to go now, and here I'm going to tell you what not to do. And what not to do is to go to the WeLostOurGold.com website, because my virus protection says there's some type of phishing attached to it. So one of the things I did for both the website We Lost Our Gold and some of this other information, I had to throw it into the Wayback Machine. The Wayback Machine is something you can use online to look at some archived website information. And so I did that for not only We Lost Our Gold, but there is a forum called Unfiction. I was going to I'll talk about that later, but that's all right. So use the Wayback Machine if you want to look at the website We Lost Our Gold or the Unfiction forum. The Unfiction forum was the main one that was used for anybody that was working on the treasure hunt. And there you can see what people posted at the time as far as what they were working on for solutions. And the web series itself, you can see that on YouTube. There's no problem in looking at it. They have a channel called We Lost Our Gold on YouTube, and I invite you, even if you don't want to look at it for as a treasure hunt, because there are clues in every video, they said. But I do recommend watching it because it was just fun. I was watching it with Sweetie both today and maybe a couple weeks ago. We looked at the web. It's just fun, and I wouldn't say it's quite suitable for all ages, because there is, I call it puppet on puppet violence in the series. But for most ages, it's appropriate. It's puppets. It's fun. It was well made, and I do recommend We Lost Our Gold, the web series on YouTube, just because it was entertaining. And after I'm done with this live stream, I will post the first of the videos in the description box below after this video is processed. So if you don't want to search it, you can just click on the link, and I'll put that in the description box later. So one of the problems, and I was hoping there was going to be a clear-cut solution, because the point of this series that I'm doing here on YouTube is I'm trying to get better at armchair treasure hunts, and one of the ways I'd like to do that is look at how they were solved before. And one of the problems with this one, the creators said they were going to talk about how it was solved, but I'm guessing they were going to do that once somebody had figured out the clues. What actually happened, like I said earlier, Hurricane Sandy came through. They wiped out a lot of the trails and the trees that were used as reference points for where you're going to go through from clue to clue in the treasure hunt. The location is in southeast Brooklyn. This was the final location. This is an old airfield on Barren Island. The airfield is called Floyd Bennett Field. It is part of the Gateway National Recreation Area. And it's a former airfield itself. And the area that it was hidden is actually in this area sort of northwest of the former runways. And that's called the North 40 Natural Area. You can see there are different hiking trails in the area. And the area changed significantly enough that Hurricane Sandy came through 2 years after they initially buried the treasure. And a lot of people were working on the time. If you ever look at the Unfiction forums, there are a lot of discussion back and forth in trying to figure it out. But I'd say over a year, it really decreased in sort of the, at least what people were posting and were working on it. They disappeared without giving anyone a solved still fishing. I understand, Born Talent, and I can see that's kind of an issue with anything in treasure hunting. These armchair treasure hunts, people say I buried a chest worth $2 million somewhere in the Rocky Mountains, and people haven't figured it out in 10 years, and they say, "Oh man, is it real? Is it fake? Did someone actually put a treasure hunt?" Runways make an X. Okay. Alan Kay is thinking about treasure hunts X. Not only is it an X. I have this set where I was trying to see if there was anything different before Hurricane Sandy. And let me see if I can put one that is not cloudy. Here we go. How's that for an X there, Alan K? There's a G, there's an X. They had these X's on the runways. They faded over time, but they're more visible at the time that the treasure hunt was done. I was trying to see if there was anything visually that changed from before Hurricane Sandy to after Hurricane Sandy. I was looking at some pictures a couple days ago. Nothing quite so dramatic here on the satellite view of looking back or looking forward. Yeah, runways make an X. I know. So there were various trails and trees that were used as clues, and this was mentioned by the creators. And I'm only going to talk about the ones that are the clues that they've mentioned were definitely clues. I was trying to figure out if maybe I can figure out some, and I wasn't able to figure out anything on my own as far as what were clues and what was figuring out. We do know when they uncovered the treasure hunt, the creators, after Hurricane Sandy, they were in a parking lot. I don't know if it was this parking lot up here, and the writer from the New York Times that were with them, they said they went 300 yards No, let's go ahead and throw up 300 yards and see what that is. Yards. So no more than 300 yards from. Maybe I should move the thing so you can see. Here we go. So that yellow line represents 300 yards. So it could be nearly anywhere in the North 40 where the treasure was actually hidden. Let's see. The treasure chest itself was disintegrating when the creators dug it up, and they donated the money, the $10,000 later to hurricane relief after the fact. But I do understand Born Talent where it seemed fishy, where they made a treasure hunt and then they said it was real, and then they unburied it. But they had somebody from the New York Times there. I understand the concern, but I'm thinking it's probably on the up and up. They said they were trying to generate traffic. They have a different web series that became more popular than the We Lost Our Gold. And they said it was $10,000 out of their own money. These two guys, they each put $5,000 on the ground. I give them the benefit of the doubt, but I understand the thinking that it could be something else. But this is the picture of the creators uncovering the treasure, and all the coins were all split up and everything because of the damage. All right, some of the things that were, again, definite clues. One of them was Cybele. Let me see if I can zoom in. This is in the New York Times article. Cybele, Cybele. It's the goddess who turned her son into an evergreen tree. There was an evergreen tree that was one of the points that they were looking as a reference in the clues from point to point. I still haven't been able to figure out even how you were supposed to get the general area. The general area being this barren island, Floyd Bennett Field, Gateway National Recreation Area, North 40. One of the things they mentioned is there were flying birdies was in one of the videos. I think it was the 8th of the 8 videos. Flying birdies. And in this article, they said that was related to the planes going overhead heading to JFK Airport. So it could either think of it that, or because it was a former airstrip, maybe that was where the flying birdie is, at least got you to the general area. One of the other things mentioned in the article is Black Gates of Hell was mentioned in the 7th video of the web series. In the 7th video, there is, and this is a point next to the North 40, where there's a black sort of chain link fence. I don't know if this is the exact spot, but there is places in this Floyd Bennett Field area where they've got this black chain link fence. That was supposed to be the Black Gates of Hell, which is mentioned in the 7th video. The final clue that was getting you there, and let me make sure you can see this. Yeah, you can see it. Is there was a skull attached to a tree, and this was supposed to tell you the final point. Someone posted on their Facebook group or Facebook page that they took this as a souvenir, but they took a picture on the tree to show everybody. This was the final clue to tell you where to dig. This tree, and again, I'm not exactly sure where the tree is or how you're supposed to get here, but this was the final clue. This skull is used pretty often, not only on their webpage. There's the skull there. I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. So there's the skull there. It is also used on the Captain puppet, the puppet that they call Captain. It is on his hat, this sort of skull image. And so this is supposed to get you to the final spot. And that's what I have. The treasure hunt ended early because of Hurricane Sandy. Oh, and even Sandra Miller, who goes by Sandy, she said in the book she dreamt that she was like reading the headlines, treasure uncovered by Sandy, and it ended up being, it was kind of uncovered indirectly due to Hurricane Sandy. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So the treasure hunt was free to play as a review free to play. All you had to do was watch the YouTube videos. I think it's a kind of a unique way to set up a treasure hunt where a series of YouTube videos and the clues are all in the YouTube videos on how you're supposed to get there. I think it's a very unique way to do a treasure hunt. So either visual and or words, something that we see with books or if someone puts a picture. The clues took you to this Floyd Bennett Field in southeast Brooklyn, which is actually a very, I don't know if rural is the right term, but undeveloped area, which is kind of unique for the 5 boroughs of New York City, because it's just jam-packed with people. Even the parts that are not jam-packed, like Staten Island isn't quite as jam-packed. There's still a lot of people that are relatively close together, and the parks that are there are like city parks, where if you were digging a hole and putting a treasure chest, you'd think it would be pretty obvious that someone would find it. But it was in this, not remote, because I think there's even like buses can take you here, but it's a part of Brooklyn, and it fell into the category of within the 5 boroughs, and they buried a treasure. So I give them credit for that. And the clues were difficult enough. Whatever all the individual clues are is very difficult to figure out. And unfortunately, it got, ended early after about 2 years because of Hurricane Sandy. But I think it was interesting. I'm trying to get myself familiar with a lot of these treasure hunts so that I can get better at future ones or current ones. And I thought it was kind of interesting. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. I don't know the next time I'm going to make a treasure hunts of the past, but when they are, I will post them and it will be on this channel. I want to thank everybody for coming in today, and I will see you next time.